Al Dooley joining us this morning on KWOS Open Air. We're going to spend this half hour talking a little bit about the Central Missouri Honor Flights. This is the deal where World War II veterans get a free trip to Washington, D.C. It's a one-day trip. You go there, you see the World War II Memorial, you see Arlington, other points of interest. You get back on the plane and go home.
It is. It's an interesting program. I can recall when I was with the Veterans Commission, I guess it was 2006. John and I were talking about that a few minutes ago, and we met in St. Louis a couple days and talked about the program. And a lot of the Veterans Organization representatives and our commission met with them. And this is a pretty organized event. I mean, they've got it down pat. I mean, these guys fly out and eat early in the morning, actually, and then come back late in the evening. And I know my involvement originally was because we had the Veterans Home. We had medical personnel. We had RNs, LPNs, and people that work with the senior citizens to go along with them. And they've got this all organized. I think they have 3 people for every 8 veterans on the flight to care for them, And boy, I tell you, whether you're wheelchair bound they have all these contingencies taken care of.
We're talking about guys who are late 80s
Absolutely.
on up.
The pups are in their late 80s.
I know.
Literally. The guys who were like 16 and 17.
And they take care of you so well if you need wheelchair assistance or anything like that. Like you said, they have medical personnel on board the flight, and it's all taken care of.
It is.
It's expense paid. You don't fork out a single dime for the whole day. You get the meals and the whole deal. Bus trip over there to St. Louis, and it really works out well.
It works out, and the thing I'd urge people, if you do have a father or mother that's a World War II veteran that you're not sure about the medical condition, call Honor Flight and visit with them, because they do a lot to help, because sometimes, and the thing is, the next flight, and I think it's their 10th flight out of mid-Missouri, is June the 29th, and they're not filled. So we need to find some World War II veterans to go on that. And if you know of a World War II veteran, get a hold of Chris Jarble. Called me earlier in the week and talked to me about this.
Counselor over at the high school.
Absolutely, and does so much, and the kids over there do so much for veterans. But the sad thing is you have such a great program like this. You want all eligible World War II veterans to take advantage of it if they can. So if you know anybody, you need to contact the Honor Flight people and find out if the number one eligible, number 2 if they can medically go.
And let's give out the number right now. Barb Brueggemann is the person in charge of that. Barb, unfortunately, we haven't been able to hook up with her this morning. We were going to be talking with her, but I think she's maybe busy probably busy working on honor flights. But her number is 301-5657, and it's the same area code, 573. 301-5657. They also have a website. Right offhand, I'm not sure. You can Google it.
Mid-Missouri Honor Flight. It'll take you right to it and give you all the details and stuff.
Great.
I think it's neat because, Al, you might remember we had Doc McInerney on with us just the other day, and he talked about it. And Warren's father-in-law, John Knapp, who's served in World War II in the 8th Air Force, and they both talked about just the greeting that they got even in the airport from everybody coming and going both.
Well, I know, the first time you had your father-in-law on, John, it was John Warren, was I ran over and I picked him up and brought him in, and we talked about it. And he's
going to join us on the phone here in a little bit.
Great.
So,
it gratifies you that you've got a program that once they go on it and they come back, it's just like Chief McInerney, that they're so gratified and so emotional about it. And it is an emotional thing for these guys.
Have you ever been to the World War II Memorial?
Absolutely. Several times.
It's really beautiful.
It is. I mean, that trip, you do World War II, Vietnam Memorial, the Korean Memorial. If they've got time to get over to Arlington, I mean, it is really an interesting, fun-packed day for these guys.
It's divided into 2 parts. One is commemorates the Atlantic Theater, and the other the Pacific Theater. And individual thing, there's a separate Pearl Harbor memorial, for instance, all around this big pool, and it's just a breathtaking place.
It really is. It really, and the thing that I really am impressed with is everything that surrounds the program. And we were talking earlier, the motorcyclists, whether it's the Patriot Guard, which basically leads the way in getting the word out, the Legion riders. I mean, they get 200 or 300 motorcyclists that escort the bus out and back.
We've been talking this morning about the Central Missouri Honor Flight. There are still some spaces available for the June 29th Central Missouri Honor Flight. This is where World War II veterans get a complimentary, free of charge trip to Washington, D.C. It's a one-day trip, and you go to the World War II Memorial and other points of interest, and it's free. And if you'd like to get on the next plane out on June 29th, call 573-301-5657, and that will put you in touch with Barb Brueggemann. My father-in-law, John Knapp, went on this trip about a year ago, and is joining us this morning by telephone to tell us a little bit more about it. John, good morning. Welcome back to the Open Air program.
Good morning, Warren. How you doing?
I'm doing great. We wanted to get somebody on here to just kind of let World War II veterans and their families know what they can expect on one of these Central Missouri Honor Flights. Tell us about your trip. It began very early in the morning, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
What time did they get you guys up and get you going?
I had to get up about 2:30 in the morning. That's okay. I enjoyed it.
And then they get you on a kind of a shuttle bus, and they take you right over there to Lambert, right?
Yes.
What was the greeting like when you got to Baltimore? Tell us what that was like when you guys all got off the plane there.
Well, I want to say this to you, Warren. All veterans understand that the general public wants to express gratitude to veterans, but I have never seen anything like this. There were hundreds of people in the Baltimore airport, all clapping and hollering at us, wishing us well. And at the end of the line was my grandson.
That's right. Know him. That's when Ben was living in D.C., and he met you right there and spent the day with you guys.
Yes.
We were talking about, I mean, some of the younger guys there are in their late 80s, and most of the fellas there are now in their 90s.
That's right.
But they have plenty of people kind of looking out after you guys too, right?
Yes, every veteran had somebody in to help him. A lot of the guys came in wheelchairs. Some came with walkers, some with canes, and some like me didn't have a cane. We just walked around. But there was somebody that took care of us.
And if you did need a wheelchair later on, say you just got tired or something like that, they were made available, and there were guys that took advantage of that too, right?
Oh, you bet. If you need a wheelchair, they got them. You don't have to bring your own.
So you go to Baltimore, and then they bus you into the World War II Memorial. About how much time do you get to spend there?
Oh gosh, we could have spent an hour if we wanted to.
You were in the Atlantic Theater. What sort of memories did that bring back for you?
Well, it brought all kinds of memories back, of course. One of the things that happened was that they lined us all up. About 30 of us lined up with wheelchairs in front and those standing up in back in front of the Wall of Heroes. There's a gold stars to honor the fallen veterans. And here we were, all of us there. And I have a picture on my computer I'm looking at right now which shows all 30 of us. I'd say half of the guys had a big smile on their face, realizing that this memorial was built to honor the veterans of World War II. It's a beautiful thing.
Where did you go after you went to the World War II Memorial?
Well, we visited Arlington Cemetery and went through the ceremony of the unknown soldier. That was a very moving experience.
John, my favorite story is you told us last time that you were here, and folks who listen to this program know your grandson Ben Kretsch is now a private in the U.S. Army, but he said and told you from your experiences and all, that was this event when you went on the honor flight and hung out with him that day was when he decided he'd join the Army.
Well, Ben got to talk to a whole bunch of veterans, including myself, and he was very impressed. He realized that he had a duty to the country. And that was very comforting to me.
That he thought about that all last summer, and he finally just said, "Hey, I'm going to go ahead and do this." And he's never looked back, and he's just as happy as he can be there. He really enjoys the experience.
I talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and he said he loved it. He enjoyed it. He enjoyed the men, especially.
Yeah.